Men's Minute, Modcast with his mates, Mo, Perry, Sadia, and special guest Barry.
Hello,
Episode
and welcome to another episode of Min's
229.
Minute Modcast with his mates. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Min.
Okay, now we have a special guest with us today. We have the awesome Barry. Hello, Barry.
Hey, yeah, great to be here, Min, with everybody on this Modcast. I love seeing all of you at the same time. It's pretty cool.
And we have questions. We're very excited. Some of us didn't even sleep all night because we know today is your book launch for your latest book, Artificial Organizations. And we've got a bunch of questions whilst we wait for it to arrive in our digital post. So I'm going to kick off, and rather than doing the hello, who are you, etc., I've just got like a bunch of questions as we all have. So I'm going to just go for it. So my first question is, what exactly is an artificial organization? And also, why aren't all our companies already being run by robots?
Yeah, well, let's start with why companies aren't being run by robots, because that's actually the most important question. And it's actually why I think the book is so important. You know, like, we have all these amazing technologies out there at the moment where you can automate things, where you can use these tools to move information around faster. But moving information around is one thing. Making decisions and having judgment is a very human thing. Machines pretty much suck at that. You know, so one of the things that was really important for me when I started thinking about, well, what is an artificial organization? And these organizations are systems. Information moves around those systems, and the highest performing ones have great human judgment at the center of it. So really for me, I was thinking about my own way that I work. You know, how do I build a leadership system for the AI era where I can build a judgment system to help me understand how to make high quality calls at high frequency, at high pace, and have confidence in those decisions that I were making. And that requires building, if you will, for me, a judgment system to do that, metrics to look at, information sources I have confidence in. So when I'm under pressure and I need to make a call, I can rely on these tools to get me the information that I want to make a confident decision. That was a judgment system and really the core premise of the book. And then as you scale that up to companies, it's really a judgment infrastructure built around the company. You know, what are the systems and technology-wise and both manual processes you have in place that allow your company to capture information, to leverage it, to reuse it, to allow the company to make decisions at pace and keep going forward. So really for me, that's what an artificial organization is. It's a company where information compounds, where it has a judgment infrastructure in place, and it allows companies to move at pace with confidence in uncertainty because they've built these great infrastructures and systems around them to help their teams make decisions and move forward. And that's really the premise of the book, both at an individual level and for companies.
Why did you write the book? What was the decision for you to think, to make, like, I need to put this on paper because it's important?
Yeah, so, you know, a lot of this book is actually derivative of work. I didn't sit down and say, I need to write a book. You know, I work with Min in an AI venture studio where we're building companies all the time. You know, I was sitting at my desk doing my own work, sort of overwhelmed, if you will. My head full of information, excited about opportunities in front of me, but overwhelmed with just a thing I had to remember from yesterday, a decision I just came up in the meeting that I was in. You know, we're sort of in this world where we've had more intelligence, more data, more tools than ever. And yet decisions feel slower, they're heavier, they're harder. And, you know, we saw that again and again in the studio with founders that we were working with. You know, they're just overwhelmed, and executives are overwhelmed with AI, not knowing where to start. So really my inspiration came from feeling that too, and starting to think, you know, it's not that I needed new tools, I needed new ways to work. I needed to redesign how I work and use these tools to support my natural traits for the highest leverage tasks I have, and then finding tools to help me.
So what is the biggest thing you did? Sorry, I'm in interview mode. I will shut up after this question. But what is the biggest thing you did immediately, Barry, when you were thinking, you were sitting at your desk, everything is coming to you. I know the studio very well, all these founders and everything is happening and the whole world is collapsing and fucking morons everywhere and what's going on. And so what is the thing that you used immediately, like, I need to focus on this because this will help me with this link to human and machine intelligence?
Yeah, so most people jump to a tool, and that's the wrong thing to do. You actually need to start with how you work, like the way you do your best work. Now, for me, I'm dyslexic, so a lot of my best ways of working are actually talking. I talk out ideas with people. I like Socratic process. I like to sort of back and forth to figure out ideas. So that's a natural trait about how I innovate. Then I looked at my tasks, like what are the highest leverage, highest value creation tasks that I have. And for me, they're actually mostly meetings. It's when I'm meeting founders, it's when I'm meeting execs or teams. That's actually where the information we generate is actually the most valuable. So when I realized that my trait is talking, tasks were meeting, a tool was pretty obvious for me about where to start. I got a meeting co-pilot to be with me everywhere I went. And what was powerful about that is that started to create data assets. So every conversation, every piece of information became a data asset that I could capture, store, and recall later. So when I would have conversations with people, I could be really present. I'm not worried about what did Min say again, or what were those 5 actions 3 minutes ago. So I could really be present with people. And that was really the beginning for me, is that I started to think of every meeting as basically a data asset. So then at the end of my day, I could just sit there and query that data asset and say, what were all the actions I came up with today? Who's the owners? What's the due dates? What things was I concerned about? Is that what I really thought? Is that what Satya said? Do I need to double check that? So my follow-up and my synthesis at the end of each day went from 2 hours to 20 minutes. And I had confidence in the output. So that was sort of one of these huge breakthroughs for me, where it's not like I just work got easier. It's actually, I got more confident. I didn't have to hold everything in my head. And then the great thing about this asset is it's compounding. Every time I've had a call, and I've been using a co-pilot now since 2017, I have nearly 10 years of data assets captured that I can use to think better, to challenge myself, to ask blind spots about meetings I'm in. How could I run them better? It's one of the best sort of thinking partners that I could dream of. And it's getting smarter all the time and helping me get better. And I think that's probably where it really kicked off for me.